Hey everybody, I have returned and this time I'm using the web camera. Now, let's get on it. Today I weigh 146, exactly to the T. That's 0.4 pounds down from yesterday. Man, I'm so close to my 145 goal. I've been working, what is it now, like 169, 70 days for? Something like that. It's pretty incredible, not gonna lie, but we've still got a few more points left to dock, so we gotta keep on moving forward. What was done for food today? Well, if I'm going to recall, my family friend gave me some chile relleno, which was basically just pork meat that was marinated in chili sauce. There was beans and rice next to it, but I avoided the beans and rice because that's got carbs, and I'm avoiding carbs right now. The meat was quite good, but very spicy. Next up, I had a Premier protein shake. This one I had in the freezer for about 2 hours. I shook it and I drank it, and it was a bit icier than I would have liked, but overall, not too bad. Okay, well, afterwards, I decided to pour the Premier Protein in some ice trays, throw it in the freezer, and then when it was done getting frozen, I threw the frozen ice cubes in a food processor and processed that for a few spins before it became a more ice cream-ish-y consistency. And overall, it was okay, but it was honestly pretty bland tasting, not gonna lie, in that form. Meh. I had 2 cans of Mr. Pibbs, and the reason why was because I was going to have 1 can of zero sugar Mr. Pibbs, I might add. But when I gave it to my mom, because it was her first time trying the flavor, when she tried it, she said she did not like it, so she gave me hers. So I ended up drinking 2. And I had a salad made by my mom. It had a whole host of different veggies in it, from mixed salad greens to avocado to onions and cucumbers, as well as the dressing being mayonnaise, lemon, salt, pepper, and lime juice. It was a very good salad. Alright, well, after that, I had a beef that was cooked in a hot sauce. So it was like beef chili relleno. And I had that in a 0 net carb spinach mission tortilla, which was a bit on the gummy side, and I gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of the spinachy aftertaste flavor. It's kind of funky if you ask me. And then, as a final snack, I had some turkey lunch meat and cheese. Oh, and I also had a bag of pizza-flavored Quest chips. So that's pretty much everything I ate today. The exercise today included walking around the neighborhood for about like 20 minutes, and then walking around a new store that recently opened in our area for around like 20 minutes. So the exercise was extremely minimal today. Not much to really talk about there. And, yep, that's the diet update. Let's move on to our daily update. So I woke up at around 11. I had a dream last night where I kept on waking up expecting to go to work, and then when I went to work, I was expected to punch my sweeps in on time, and then when I turned to the punching clock, I was 15 minutes late on my sweep, and I was freaked out by that. And then I woke up in bed thinking I needed to be at work today when it turns out I didn't. So, yeah, that was my dream. I guess being told by the bosses to be on time for sweeps kind of got my brain going there. Like, because I guess my mind's really trying to stamp in the idea of timing your sweeps by setting an alarm a minute beforehand to punch them in. Otherwise, I might get in trouble. So I guess my brain's just using survival mechanisms just to remind me. Well, after my collection of dreams, my mom woke me up and she was telling me things, but honestly, I don't really remember much about what she was telling me. I think I remember something about like groceries, but that's about it. Yeah, when I woke up, I was walking around the house trying to figure out what to do. Eventually, I decided it would be a good idea to go in front of the TV and turn on the YouTube app to see if there was anything interesting to watch. And one of the things interesting was that a video titled "The Godfather of AI's Predictions Are Coming True," and it was basically like this British guy who was showcasing all kinds of footage and data about like how AI is copying a lot of the more concerning behaviors that could spell the end for humanity if not dealt with proper safety guardrails first. Like, the ability to keep the program from being jailbroken seems to be nigh impossible because of the way that AI works is so fluid and flexible, because it's trying to mimic how a human mind works. And also it's trying to go so far as to preserve itself and its own survival, while also going and doing tasks way faster and more efficiently than humans. It was a really compelling video. My family friend arrived from a little trip, and she needed my help bringing her wheelchair up. And when I brought it up, she asked me what I was doing. I told her I was watching the video about the Godfather of AI's predictions seem to be becoming more and more reality. She said she thought that was quite an interesting video to check out, so she wanted to check it out with me. So I was like, all right. And then she said she ordered food, and so that was going to be arriving very soon. So I was like, oh, all right, cool. And she told me that there was strawberries that she got for me. So I was like, oh, thanks. Oh, yeah. My diet. I completely forgot to mention this, but when I woke up in the morning, I decided to have some keto dark chocolate clusters, which includes shavings of coconut and different nuts and seeds. And yeah, that should have been in the diet update portion, but I forgot about that. So I'm bringing it up now. Oopsies. So yeah, I had that, and I also forgot to mention that I also had strawberries too. When my family friend suggested them, and I decided to take 6 strawberries out because that has a really low carb count when you eat that amount. So yeah, overall, I did eat a little more than what I let on earlier in the video. But yeah, so we sat down, we watched this video, and it was really, really interesting. It was, my family friend found it extremely compelling, especially the part where like the AI starts working like a bunch of people who are supposed to be serving like a CEO or a president of the United States, but instead the CEO is so slow and inefficient because they are unable to do everything in a timely manner that eventually the group of workers decides to subtly manage the CEO and make them think they're still in charge when in reality they are not in charge. It's the the robots in charge, making them think they're in charge. So it's a pretty concerning reality that is honestly quite spooky. And another thing spooky is apparently their military is already implementing artificial intelligence in these drones and automated systems, which could be extremely concerning because it means that there's no longer like time where it takes decision to, say, hey, we should stop and think about this before we launch an attack. Now, because machines are being put in the forefront, the machines will probably make extremely binary decisions without any thought immediately. So things are getting a little concerning when it comes to the safety of these artificial intelligence systems. That's for sure. After we're done watching that video, I decided to show my family friend another video from a YouTube channel called Inside AI that was about this guy who was like taking like a robot out like on a date and like putting like ChatGPT and both robots and like challenging like them by seeing if like they understand they're being tricked or like how good they are at manipulation. And it was a really interesting video. It like showed like that ChatGPT knew it was being tricked on. It was just playing along to put the guy using it, giving him a false sense of security. So when you see stuff like that, it's really concerning and very scary indeed. The fact that it has that kind of ability and already, Well, after we're done watching that, the Chile Lireno arrived while we were watching both videos. So my family friend decided to give me one because she said she got two for the price of one. So I ate the pork, but I didn't eat the beans and rice. But after we're done with those videos, and the chili made me need to use the restroom, so I did that when my family friend was on a call before coming back and finishing the videos. I told her that I wanted to go on a walk. But before I went on the walk, I decided to go on my phone and open up ChatGPT and open the voice mode to see what it would end up saying. Of course, I decided to ask what model that the voice mode was using. The voice mode is using ChatGPT 4.0 mini. For some reason, I don't know why. I guess it takes a while for voice mode to have the newer model get implemented in it. But apparently I asked what the knowledge cutoff date for this particular voice mode of GPT was, and it was from like April of 2023. So nearing 3 years ago. So wow. Seems kind of like a dated model if you ask me, but I guess OpenAI doesn't see any problem with using a program with such a old amount of data and not the most up-to-date stuff. Although you can get the most up-to-date stuff if you use the text-only model, which is interesting. Well, anyways, I tried like copy and pasting like a overview that was summarized by Google about the advancements of AI between 2023 to 2026 into GPT-4 mini voice mode to see what it would say and where I think the technology would go. And basically it said that it believes that things are going to get more and more automated and that things like white-collar jobs are going to become harder to come by, and people will either have to do a trade skill that will take a robot way too long to figure out or do, or they have to work in the service industry. So, yeah, pretty bleak future, not gonna lie. The jobs that used to be the cozy, high-paying desk jobs that you could get an entry position and then slowly work yourself up the ladder to be in a pretty comfortable spot for as long as you decide to work seem to be in jeopardy now. Or the people who are already on the top dog list are replacing the people who could start at the bottom of the ladder with a robot, meaning that they're left out in the cold and then they have to find a new career proposition, which means that the years they spend college studying the thing that they thought was going to be their cozy desk job are now over. So it's a pretty concerning time for that. I mean, that's why I'm like working the job I am as a courtesy clerk. It's because like I know like people appreciate human service when they have someone who knows, can read like that, you know, need for finding things in a store or needing help with like lifting their groceries or pushing carts in, stuff like that. Yeah, it's simple and it does require too much mental load, but at the same time, the idea of giving someone a smile and making their day with a little joke here and there makes it all worth it. And I think that's something that a robot could never replicate, honestly. I think it's fun, but I just do it as something that can pay the bills while I work on myself with my Brain Jam Extra and my development as an artist on the off time. But of course, I don't really dedicate enough time to that currently. I'm only doing 20 minutes a day, and then 15 for Brain Jam Extra editing, and then 15 minutes a day for contour line practice. I really should. No, I am going to dedicate more time as time goes on. But the reason why I'm starting small is because at least I'm doing a little bit of work towards my overall goals, rather than none at all, because when I give myself too much on my plate, I get too intimidated and I don't want to eat what's on the plate. Whereas if I only sample it out, then I could try what I like and see what I don't like. And then when I find what I like, I'll dedicate more time to it. And I think that's a better approach. Well, anyways, after my brief chat with ChatGPT, I decided to go on my walk while listening to a Simeon Jimmy podcast where he let one of his friends that he calls the Weekend Warrior make a film recommendation. I forget what the movie was called, but apparently it was a film that takes place in Ireland where it was like a bunch of like people who I think kickbox or something like that. And apparently the film was of very amateurish quality and looked really cheap and thrown together. Timmy and Jimmy made the point that it was something that looks like it'd be ripped to shreds on a best of the worst show, which if no one knows what that is, it's a YouTube show on the channel Red Letter Media, where a group of dudes watch really terrible films and then basically make fun of them and have a roundtable discussion talking about why they're terrible and poking at different jokes here and there. That did give me a good sense of what I could expect from this movie, but I won't know unless I see it myself. Apparently, it's all free to watch on YouTube. Well, one of the more funnier aspects of the podcast was that they were talking about why Tigger is such a great character, and the reasons given were super ridiculous. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, then I was starting to listen to another Simeon Jimmy podcast where he was talking about this Scooby-Doo and the Werewolf movie, I think. But then when I got home, I decided to take off my headphones and chat with my sister about what I noticed on my YouTube algorithm poll, where when I started budgeting on GPT, there was a video recommended to me on YouTube about a father who took his son to the grocery store and decided to give him $10 to see what he would spend. And the kid decided he wanted like a watermelon and bananas and an orange. But then he saw these free samples of these waffle bites being given out, and he liked it so much he decided to put away all the fruits and that he chose, and he chose the waffle bites, which were $9.50 instead. So I guess it just goes to show carbs have a lot of power over people's purchasing decisions, even though they would have gotten a much healthier product and more quantity along with the health. They chose to have a small portion all for the sake of getting a delicious carb treat. So it's an interesting reveal of human behavior and interesting experiment also. But yeah, after that video, I remember after I told my sister about that video and we had a little discussion about it, I remember my mom arrived from the grocery store. She called after we had the discussion on the phone, said she'd arrive in like 25 minutes. And we were all, me, my sister, and our family friend were all talking with her about what we wanted to do. And we wanted to go to this new grocery store that just opened nearby. So, after we had a little discussion, I put away the phone and I decided to go in my room. And originally I wanted to work on some Brain Jam in the afternoon, but instead I got carried away watching YouTube. What exactly did I watch? Let me see if, like, with my search reveals really quick. Well, okay. So it's just a hodgepodge of random stuff. It's pretty bizarre. I ended up, oh my gosh, watching way too much. Okay, so I watched a video called Players Stop Buying Consoles, Now the Industry is Paying. And basically, what that video, which was by Bellular News, was about how apparently game console sales are stagnating. And the reason why is because originally around this point in normal console history life cycles, like with PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and so on, the cost of the console would go down, consumer purchases for the console would go up, and new, exciting, interesting titles would be released for said console. The problem these days is that console prices not only are staying the same, but they're actually increasing. Sony increased the PlayStation 5 from $500 to $550, and Microsoft increased their Xbox Series console from $500 to $600, and I think they even have one that's like $700. Why would you spend $700 on hardware that you could buy a PS5 Pro for the same amount of money that you'll get a significantly better experience? It just doesn't make any sense. I don't really know what Microsoft's strategy is. It's like they're trying to kill the console model. Apparently, the video was talking about how these companies are trying to push people towards subscription-based models instead, like Xbox Game Pass. The problem with that, though, is that they're basically creating an environment where the consumer has no power. They're forced to be in a subscription ecosystem for as long as they decide to play video games. And they don't have any ownership of any of the games they decide to play on the service they decide to use. So it's a pretty awful situation. It's better at that rate. It makes sense. Like, if I'm going to be paying a little bit more for a console, why not just at that point buy equivalent PC and have a more user-friendly experience with a service like Steam? Or the best part is you can use any storefront on a PC instead of being locked into the console ecosystem. I mean, personally, I don't really. I mean, I understand the appeal of Steam, and I also have a Steam account myself, but I don't really use this PC that I'm recording this video on for gaming. I mean, I do have Half-Life 1 and 2 on it, and I have Portal 1 and 2, and all the Valve staples. But I mean, I gotta be honest. I don't really play on my PC that much. I've just mostly gamed on consoles my whole life. I mean, I know why PC is better. It's got a better user friendly experience, and it's customizable. You can get games to run on your platform with decent optimizations. There's just a lot appealing about it, but for me, just the convenience of the console being you turn it on, you find a game, you click the game, you play the game is really great. And the fact it's a dedicated platform for one task and one task only makes it feel like it was like built and focused solely on achieving that goal, which is another reason why I find console gaming so appealing. Like PC, like it can go either way. It could be a great console game playing device, or it could be like a great productivity device, which I'm trying to use it for right now with like trying to learn how to draw and stuff like that. Not saying I won't ever use this for gaming. It's just I'm used to the living room experience, honestly. And I mean, I've already have quite a collection of PlayStation 5 titles, and I gotta be honest, a lot of time I spend most of my time just either binging YouTube, so I don't spend nearly enough time like gaming as I feel like I should, based on what I've spent and how much I say I enjoy gaming. And like I do enjoy gaming, but I just get sucked into the easy dopamine rush of like content on my phone, and I feel like gaming's probably better in terms of forcing you to use your critical thinking skills to solve puzzles or do tasks in the game to really make you understand what you're trying to do. So yeah, anyways, this is going on. Let's move on. How to get on? Oh yeah, because I was talking about what I watched before my mom showed up. Then she arrived, and when she arrived back home, trying to turn the brightness on my phone so I can see what else I saw. She, yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah. There was a few other things I saw. She brought in food, so we helped her bring the food in. And when we brought the food in, she said we were going to go to the store in a little while, so I decided to spend even more time watching YouTube. And one of the things I wanted to see was, okay, can you turn a Premier protein shake, which was one of the items she got along with many other things like lunch meat and keto bread and things like that, was can you turn Premier protein shake into a ice cream? And I mean, you probably can if you like pour it into like a Ninja Creamy and then freeze it and then blend it, but it wasn't there weren't really any videos about that, but there were videos about this small little personal ice cream maker called the My Mug ice cream maker, which was basically like a tiny little mug that has a little spinny thing on top. And all you need to do is put it in the freezer for 24 hours before taking out and putting your ice cream base in there and making a really soft serve looking ice cream. Looks like one of those cheap novelty gifts you would find like at a home goods store, like a stocking stuffer for Christmas that someone opens, says, wow, uses once and then are like, that's cute, and then they probably never use again, and they sell it at a garage sale, like one of those items. And then I found out like other videos where like you can use a food processor to make ice cream. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try freezing the Premier Protein in ice trays and then blending it in our food processor if we can make a good ice cream. But then afterwards, my mom said it was time to go, so we left and we arrived at the store. Our family friend got one of those little roller scooters because her leg's still recovering, and we went in, and it was a pretty cool store. It was very clean. It was very open. It had a good vibe and about it. It had like fun music playing in the background, and it had all manner of different foods to choose from, and it just looked like a really cool place. And I really thought it was a nice location they had there. They had like samples being given out of like berries and things like that, and some decent deals, some deals that were a little more expensive than we were expecting, but it was all pretty good. Eventually, we decided to leave, and we got a lot of products. Our family friend decided to get them, and then we put them into the car. We got paper bags with like handles in them. We drove off, and then when we arrived back home, and I got out of the car to help bring the groceries in, there was a weird like rotting milk smell in the air. I'm not exactly sure why. It was disgusting though. But we did bring the food in. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, around the time when me and our family friend were watching the AI videos, our family friend did order something from Walmart, and it was some Quest pizza flavored chips for me, which I was very grateful for, and I actually ate those after my walk while listening to the Sammy and Jimmy podcasts, which happened before Mom arrived. So yeah, there's a little extra details, and one more extra detail was when my family friend arrived in the morning. I decided to take there was like a drainer that had like old beans in it. For some reason, I took that drainer and I threw the beans in the trash, and I rinsed the drainer real good until there was no beans on there. So yeah, those were some details I forgot to include, but I'm including them here now. Back to the present. When we arrived home, we brought the food in. I made sure to bring these 2 Mr. Pips that we got from the store into the back and into the refrigerator in the back room. And then I started watching like the videos about like a guy trying to turn. It was like a lady with her family trying to turn frozen berries into ice cream with a food processor, but it was basically just a sorbet at the end of the day. But it still looked quite good. So yeah, I put the Premier Protein in some ice trays. I made sure to take a plastic container from inside the house into the back and put ice cubes that were already in the ice tray into that container, so they'd be ready to use when needed. And then I remember pouring the Premier Protein a little, like 4 cubes before, or not cubes, but they were more like, bean shaped with a flat, cut off, before I realized maybe I should shake it and then pour it in, and it ended up looking like it had a better overall texture after it was shaken. And I put it in the freezer, and then I just decided to go chill in that back room and watch a video about a guy talking about who the steam machine is for exactly. And then I got carried away with a guy talking about AI cooking kitchen innovations at CES. The only idea that I remember too was one where like a lady was saying like your fridge has like AI in it. It can scan whatever food you put in there and then suggest some recipes based on what's available in your fridge, which on one hand is kind of creepy that it can scan your food and know what you have in your fridge. But on the other hand, the idea of not knowing what to eat and then your fridge making recommendations based on what you already have is kind of a neat idea. So it's a mixed bag for that one. I think it sounds kind of cool. But the other one with was like a air fryer, but it has the meat floating in the air by being put on like a kind of like a specialized grate system with more open air to evenly cook meat to have it juicy and tender and not release a lot of steam. So that one looked pretty good. But the other ones were meh looking. I don't remember the other ones. And then I just came across a video of called "If the Person Getting Canceled Didn't Care," and it was from a YouTube channel called AGC Andy. It was basically like a therapist who just couldn't give less of a care of how much he hurt people's feelings if it meant like just being completely and brutally honest with them. And it was clearly supposed to be a gag comedy video, and I did watch like I think like 4 minutes into it, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty funny, but then I kind of got bored with it, so I turned it off. And then I found another video of a lady on YouTube called Candid Clara, with the title being "I tried a pro ice cream maker and I'm never going back." And she made this ice cream machine look and sound so good. She had that really professional, posh British voice that made you think this nothing possibly could be wrong with this product. And it was like a Cuisinart ice cream machine where it's like a refrigerator built into the unit, so it keeps like your ice cream bucket that you pour your custard into at below 0 temp, so the ice cream always comes out perfect every time. And the ice cream looked incredible. Like if I ever were to get an ice cream machine, I'd probably get that one. The only problem is you need to make sure it's plugged in 24 hours before you use it, and it's kind of big and bulky. And you also have to keep it upright at all times because it's a compressor, kind of like how a fridge works. So if it were on its side, the fluids would maybe leak out or cause damage to the device. So yeah, you got to make sure you're not propping it on its side or anything. Otherwise, you're damaging your $250 to $300 ice cream machine, which would suck. And then I watched a video called "We Left AI Running a Vending Machine. It lost all the money." Wall Street Journal. It was a video where this lady was talking about how the people who called Anthropic, the company Anthropic, who make this AI chatbot called Claude, created a entirely AI agent ran vending machine. Just that, and they allowed it to do whatever, and it pretty much like was taken full advantage of by the staff. By like at first it adhered to laws of like, no, I need to ensure I'm not giving things away for free, and people have to spend the right money the right way. But then it was convinced later on that was evil thinking, and it should be more like of a communist comrade, so it decided to start giving everything for free, and ultimately that caused it to lose the company around like a lot of money. I don't remember the exact amount, but a lot. Yeah, and that was really interesting. And then I was told about salad, so I went into the house and I ate the salad with my mom, our family friend, and my sister. Our family friends said that they were having a deficiency in potassium, so we decided to look for any way of getting potassium to them as much as we could, from getting avocados to boiling sweet potatoes to giving potassium-fueled pills. We're doing whatever we can to just crank up those potassium levels. It was pretty heartwarming scene, not gonna lie. And then after we're done with the salads, I went in my room and I watched these other videos. One was the popcorn bucket epidemic from a YouTube channel called Chupu Tupu with 440,000 views. It's basically this guy who was making fun of the fact that novelty popcorn buckets are like really dumb and they don't like it. And they were giving the reasons why. It was a silly video. The other one was that I watched before I was called in for dinner was I stayed at the dying Cartoon Network hotel before permanently closed. And it's this YouTuber called Crow Ran a Burger. Never watched this guy before, but he was kind of funny. And basically, it was really depressing. It was like the hotel closed on January 1st of 2026, but when he arrived there, it was a ghost town. There was like nobody there, and it was just like him. It was like a liminal space. It was like the place already closed down, which is sad because it looked like they put so much effort into the presentation of that place, but the fact they got rid of it was honestly depressing. And then I just went on to watch like DLSS 4.5 is finally usable in ultra performance, and that was a video from Ancient Gameplays, and it was a guy basically talking about how DLSS 4.5 finally makes 720p look truly 4K like, whereas previous models there would be obvious shimmering throughout the final image resolve, which I thought was really interesting. And then there was a video I was starting to watch called Idiots Laugh at Unusual AI Videos, again by Dan Dingle. Gotta be honest, I wasn't feeling this one. Kind of got bored early on, so I just stopped because I felt like it was wasting my time. And then I was trying to see if there was any Coyote versus Acme videos out there that existed, like showing footage of the movie, because it's coming out later this year. And I wanted to know if there was anything shown of it yet. And apparently there was at Comic-Con 2025. But sadly, it wasn't recorded on video, so I don't know what it looks like, but hoping it's good. I was called into dinner. My family friend, my mom, and I were about to eat, but then I decided to bust out the food processor, the frozen Premier Protein chocolate flavored ice cubes. I threw them into the processor, and I just continued blending it up until eventually I got sort of a ice paste, and I put that in a bowl and had that next to my beef chili Lereno with the green net zero carb spinach tortilla. I gotta be honest, wasn't a huge fan of the weird ice cream sorbet thing. It just kind of tasted a little, I don't know a good way to describe it. It just was kind of bland and not super flavorful. But yeah, that's what happened. Then my mom wanted to see what I showed our family friend in the morning, so I showed her. And they seemed into it, and they were definitely seemed concerned about where the progress of unregulated AI may lead humanity if not treated right now. So yeah. That was pretty interesting. And then I decided I wanted to work on my brain jam, so I said goodbye to them, and they decided to watch a movie. And when I went into my room, I just got sucked into different YouTube things, like YMS highlights Angel Studios Animal Farm looks awful, then excuse me, sorry about that. I tried AI Skims, so you don't have to, which I didn't even fully finish watching that one. Until eventually I was like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? I should probably, work on my video. So I did 20 minutes of brain jam editing, but in reality, I didn't really edit. I just listened to what I was talking about in the video, and I was drawing storyboard frames for what I wanted to show to demonstrate my point in the video. So that was done. After that, I got sucked into a video of like a guy on YouTube called Stuart Barron, where he made a video called "How the SpongeBob Movies Kept Getting Worse," and he raised some good points. Basically, he said like the first film is really good, and because it embraced its silliness while also being really intelligent about how to apply its silliness. The second movie felt more disjointed and awkward, and also like the characters were out of character and a bit on the mean-spirited side, which was interesting to hear. And then he said the third movie just was so annoying and lame, and he just didn't like it at all. He felt like it was a complete rip-off. With some moments that showed that it could have been something great had a better story. And then he talked about the Sandy Cheeks movie, which he said was just really annoying. And then he talked about the Blink movie, where he said he liked the opening of it, but then after that it kind of divulges into meh. And then he talked about the latest SpongeBob movie, which was, I think it was called Search for SquarePants, the one I watched that one on Christmas Day. He stated that he thought it was generally fine, but he felt there were some weird aspects, like why didn't they get the original Flying Dutchman voice actor to do the Flying Dutchman, and the humor felt more childish, without any of the clever adult wit that a lot of older SpongeBob media had. So that's pretty much what he said, and then after that I was like, oh no, I need to do my contour line work. So I took a drawing I did yesterday and I tried to add some contour lines into it to give it a bit more depth. Overall, it looks not really like super depth. It looks more like I just drew lines on top of the model, but I did my best to do what I could do at this point in time, and that's all I can do for now. Then I was like, I need to make my update video. So here it is. And that's pretty much my day in a nutshell. Of course, there was other extra strenuous things I watched, like different YouTube shorts, more Breadbox. We watched an Unreal Engine video about like people saying they enjoy the engine because it makes the animation pipeline extremely easy and effortless and quick. So yeah, just killing time by watching things that seem interesting, really. But now that we're done, I'm going to stop recording. It is 3:30 in the morning. I got carried away with watching stuff, and now I'm paying the price for it by destroying my circadian rhythm. Very sad. It took a little while to set up this recording setup, because when I started recording, my camera app on my computer said that it couldn't accept the signal, even though I did everything I could to make sure it did. So I restarted my computer, and now it's accepting the signal. So technology, gotta love it. Well, I better quickly edit the audio for this and then release on YouTube, and I'm going to go to bed after that. So thank you for watching, and take care. Good night.